Hi.
Hi.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name is Elliana Harris. I'm a student at the School of Humanity. This is my third year. I'm 17 and currently based in the UK.
Amazing. Thanks for joining. I'd love to kind of go back to the beginning of your journey at School of Humanity. Can you tell us, why did you join School of Humanity?
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a split decision. We had friends that had encountered School of Humanity and had been in contact with the founder. And I was in this point where I was like, okay, do I go to college? Do I go to School of Humanity? And then I think we had an open day, and it was online. But there was like a real sense of community there, and they were talking about the curriculum and the projects, and I was like, this is the school that I want to be a part of. So yeah, I had an interview with Raya. And it went really well. And then, started School of Humanity.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so lovely to hear like your recollection of the very first kind of time you came across us. And why do you feel like School of Humanity is different from a traditional school?
I think there are quite a few reasons. It's really interesting. I have quite a few friends who are in traditional schools at the moment, and it's exam season for them, and it's very stressful. And comparing that to kind of what I'm doing at School of Humanity, where I'm finishing my projects that I've been passionate about and putting a lot of effort into those. And I guess the projects are slightly different than what you would have in a traditional school, but also just the environment you're in. It's focused on holistic health, not just for your education. It's like, we care about your mental well-being, we care about your socialization, your physical activity, and just generally trying to, promote you as a person, not just put things on your resume, which, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that and happy to hear that. You mentioned something that stood out to you was the curriculum. Can you tell me a bit about how the curriculum works?
Yeah, so I think it differs a little bit now that we have foundational, we have advanced a bit. But I can speak from experience from advanced as well. So the curriculum kind of works that we have a project that we're focusing on this time as an advanced learner for a year. So we'll decide in the first term, we'll investigate a little bit of a few different topics. And then based on the ones that we're passionate about, we'll kind of finalise a statement, and that's kind of what we go through with the rest of the terms, and focus on those projects. But at the same time, we have skill units that we do as well. So it can range from literally anything. I think I'm doing one on like finances at the moment, but you can also do some on biomimicry, there's medicine, time management, so really ranging hard and soft skills as well. And alongside that, we have our Flourishing journeys, which is kind of focused more towards well-being and just general fulfillment, it's great. It's a really great balance between, obviously, you have your projects and you have your academics, and then you also have this space where it's like, okay, how are you doing? How are you managing your stress? So, yeah, and then that's pretty much how the curriculum works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. So can you tell me about your most recent project?
Yeah, so my most recent project for my EPQ, so the Extended Project Qualification, I'm pretty sure it's called, was a dissertation on gender biases in primary education, which a project there were so many different things that I wanted to look at, but I think that one stood out to me because it was quite present through kind of reflecting back on my own experiences in education and how it's often hidden, and I really wanted to explore that a little bit more through a dissertation. Specifically, I really enjoy writing and writing things down and investigating things on my laptop and computer. So it was a project that fitted me quite well. And through the dissertation, I was able to kind of look into the different factors that influence gender bias, and the unconscious biases that are present in the stereotypes, and how they really impact the long-term success of students as well, and the opportunities that are available to them. And starting from such a young age as well, which was the thing that I think I found just most, it was just quite bewildering in a way. There are some statistics where like it starts as young as 6 and things like that, where it's like, oh gosh, this is a problem that's really impacting students from a young age, and it's taking a toll on the whole rest of their lives. Yeah.
Wow. That definitely sounds like a very kind of interesting and complex issue as well to explore. What were some of the things that maybe you pointed to in your research as like ways to tackle this problem?
Yeah, I think that since it is such a multifaceted systems issue, it was really difficult to try and propose a solution to those. So I tried to implement a few different ones. There were some that are a little bit more maybe difficult to implement. So even like the language that we used, instead of using she and him, so kind of the pronouns, implementing more neutral and non-gender pronouns, which, I mean, looking into that a bit more in the language and the implementation of that might be a bit difficult. So there are also, for example, girls in STEM, which is an issue quite a lot in itself at the moment, having positive role models for girls. So having teachers and scientists and female mathematicians in the classroom with them to show, you know, it's not just men that can do this, it's also girls. But also with teachers as well, for boys as well. They face kind of a lower participation in schools generally. So having, you know, positive male teachers for them as well. Yeah, I think those were the main ones.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And yeah, I agree. I think it's important to look at lots of different kind of contributing solutions as well with something that is an issue this large as well.
Yeah.
So moving forwards a little bit, can you please teach us a concept or a skill that you've learned at School of Humanity?
Yeah. So one of the ones I think I found most interesting in my research was the social identity theory. And it was really prevalent in this dissertation, but also looking at it a bit broader, it impacts us in so many different ways. So it's kind of this idea that we attach ourselves to certain traits or characteristics that we have. So for example, within gender biases and stereotypes, a girl in education, she kind of identifies as a girl. But within that, the characteristics of a girl being, you know, maybe more artistic, caring, considerate, maybe more polite. And because of that, then acts in that way and belongs to that social group. So when a girl is told, you know, girls don't normally go into STEM, she's like, okay, maybe I won't go into STEM then, instead of exploring her own passions and interests. And just reflecting on that as well, there are so many different aspects of our social identity that we may go into, maybe as an athlete, as a mum, as a teacher, and how that may impact us in our different ways and our decisions.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Super interesting. And this was something you came across as part of your EPQ presentation, right? Or project, sorry.
Yeah. So I had a whole section on kind of the social impacts of gender bias and stereotypes, and maybe the cultural norms and society's kind of role in the issue as well.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It's super interesting to hear more about your research. And I guess reflecting on your journey at School of Humanity so far, what do you think you're most proud of since joining the school?
Oh, it's a tough one. I feel like generally I'm quite proud of a few different things. I think presentations are a really big part of School of Humanity, which I really, really enjoy, because I think there's so many different skills that are developed within that. So communication skills, confidence, I think, is one of the big things that you develop through that. And then that carries around in just your general schooling, being confident within the different things that you're doing and being able to communicate your ideas with people. But I've also really enjoyed the networking aspect of School of Humanity. Like, they really encourage you, you know, if you're doing an internship, to continue networking and communicating with that organisation, but also with your peers. You know, being online is sometimes difficult to remain in contact with people. So making sure that you're networking with different people, learning from different people, which is something I've really enjoyed, and I feel like has really progressed through my time at School of Humanity as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I also love that both of these are kind of like soft skills as well that are really important. So I love that these are like some of the things that you're most proud of. So that's amazing. And as generally part of being in an online school, can you talk to me about how you structure your kind of socialization and extracurriculars, physical activity? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things, entering an online school, that you have kind of trial and error, like trying different things out and seeing what works. So with socialization, trying to make sure that I have time to just hang out with friends, like you would in a traditional school, just outside, being able to hang out with your friends, have a fun time, whether that be meeting up to do some study, some work, or just having a fun time, trying to do that, which I think is also a really important skill for later on in life. I think school systems traditionally are quite unique in that aspect, where you go to a place and all your friends are already surrounded by you. So it kind of teaches you to make sure to make an effort in your relationships and friendships, which has been really, really great. Physical activity, it's a part of like our Flourishing curriculum as well sometimes. So, making sure that you're getting physical activity. So for me, going to the gym a few times a week. And then as well, just making sure that I take care of my spiritual and mental health as well within that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I also think that's a really good point, thinking about like how it's maybe preparing you to like maintain or nurture relationships that maybe you're not seeing somebody every single day.
Yeah.
But like having more thought around that, I think, yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. Okay, great. Can you teach us or explain a skill that you've learned in one of your skill units?
Yeah, so one of my most recent ones was building idea to product, which is a very entrepreneurial skill unit, kind of focused at developing something from the ground up, which was a really, really interesting project to do from someone who is kind of looking at business and entrepreneurship as well. So I was able to kind of look into these different sectors. So I looked into different medicine, and kind of decided on a wearable medical device. So as a concept, kind of developing that. So I was able to do some user research, so seeing what kind of people I wanted to target within that, seeing the different kind of profits that were available, and the funding options as well, and using lots of different platforms. So we're using Miro, Canva, to develop this project. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you. And can you talk to me about your Flourishing journey and what you've been doing this year?
Yeah. So I've kind of decided to do one like each term. So I've done a few different ones, kind of tailored to what I feel like I need to work on. So I think one of my favorite ones that I did was a 30-day Pilates challenge, which was really, really fun, and really enjoyable. It was kind of, I'd realised I wasn't taking as much care as my physical activity as I wanted to. So I was like, I'm going to make this a fun thing. And I was able to really cater it to the needs that I had in that moment. So I would document every day, I've done my workout, how do I feel like that's when. And by the end, I had kind of not only grown in my strength, but also I felt like I had gained some clarity and rhythm, and consistency, which was really, really, it was really quite a proud moment as well, being able to share that with the class at the end and through my presentation and receive that feedback. But there are also lots of other projects that may be more research-based, so researching the different types of happiness and philosophies around happiness. So it really can be tailored towards what you feel you need to work on. But also, like, if there are certain credits that you need to accomplish, they're very flexible, being like, okay, design a journey for that. And it can be artistic, it can be physical, it can be writing if that's something you're interested in. So yeah, very, very personalised.
Fantastic. And what is the school community like at School of Humanity?
School of Humanity, the community, it's a really, really strong, great community. It's quite unique in that aspect as well. I think we all respect one another. I think that's a really big thing, respect. But I think we all try and make regular contact with one another outside of classes as well. So we have different clubs that are available. So I was running the debate club for a bit, which was really fun, just engaging in different debates, enhancing our communication, debating skills, but also just having fun with one another, like different cahoots that we'd have at the beginning of sessions. And then we also have this new kind of galactic gathering, which is this event that we'll hold at the end of term or during half term, where it's kind of, we'll come together and do some activities, and the whole purpose is just to kind of open up the community and get everyone interacting with one another. And just strengthening the community as well. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And do you feel like you've made friendships through being in an online school? Like, there are people that you've made friends with?
Yeah, completely. I mean, everyone on School of Humanity is absolutely lovely. Like, I definitely, there are people who will travel to their friends' country and do School of Humanity with them sometimes, and at the annual gatherings as well. When we meet up, it is genuinely like we're all friends, we're having a good time. And in our breakout rooms, just having conversations with people, we're all definitely friends as well. It's a really, really lovely community.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that. So I'm curious, what does a typical day or a typical week look like for you at School of Humanity?
Yeah, so it definitely ranges depending on the day, but also the time of year. So I've recently finished my exams, my AP exams, which means my week is a little bit more chilled at the moment. So kind of wake up for me, I like to wake up early, get a good start on the day, do some exercise, kind of get ready, and then start doing some project work, or if I'm doing internships, we just finished our internships as well, so I was doing some workshops for that, so finalising workshops or working on my skill units, or as well if I was doing my exams, just doing some prep for that, revision, and then I have my classes that start at 11:30, so having a class, which is quite nice, so then I have a little bit of time in the morning to do some of my personal work, and then jump on a class, and then we have some breaks in between that, so normally have a half an hour break to kind of refresh, get something to eat if you need to, go out for a bit, get some fresh air, and then have another class as well, so typically have 2 to 3 classes a day, and kind of over the span of like 4 or 5 hours. And then after that, it's pretty much, work on some work if you need to, or do some physical activity, go hang out with friends. It's very personalised as well. And I have a job, so I'm able to just do a shift after I'm finished with schoolwork as well. So it's very much like the classes are kind of the specific times, but your work that you're doing, your skill units, your flourishing journey, your personal projects, anything like that, you can kind of fit around those different things. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So it's very flexible, I think, from your perspective.
Yeah.
Cool. And what about life after school? Can you tell me more about your preparation for graduation and what are some of your plans for when you graduate?
Yeah, so like I said, I've just finished doing some exams at the moment, and I've got another one in August coming up. So I've kind of decided to go down the university route. I kind of am looking at studying either business or some sort of global sustainable development, since that's something I feel really passionate about. And I feel like School of Humanity is definitely aligned with that as well, and it's really helped me prepare for that. So I've been taking my exams, and Pathway Advisory and School of Humanity and my facilitators have really helped me develop a resume for that and just have the skills that I need in preparation for that. So, when it comes to applying for university next year, I'm ready and prepared. I know what to do.
Cool. And just one follow-up question on that. Can you describe what is Pathway Advisory?
Yeah, so Pathway Advisory is the session that we have every week, which its aim is really just to prepare you for school, for life after School of Humanity, whether that be, just going into the workforce, whether you want to go to university, start your own venture, like whatever you want to do, just to make sure that you're prepared for that and you feel supported in that. So sometimes we'll have resume building, or getting your LinkedIn set up just to make sure you're networking. We've had classes on SATs, so test kind of workshops as well. Or just to make sure that you feel like you're being supported throughout your time at School of Humanity.
Amazing. Thank you so much.